Okay guys, so I'm back after some time. I was really busy with our main game that me and my team are developing, which is Astra Fading Stars, a 2D Metroidvania action platformer. But I really want to get this point and click adventure project going, so I'm glad that I found the time to record this video, and I will certainly be more consistent right now. Before we jump right into it, it would be great if you check Astra Fading Stars on Steam. We have a free demo right now and you could play it and tell us your thoughts and comments. And if you find this game enjoyable, you could also leave us a wishlist and a follow. It really helps the game reach its full potential. As you can see, I have graphically updated the scene in the graphical aspect. Now, working on Astra Fading Stars, it helped me gain experience as an artist, and I was able to apply that knowledge to this point-and-click adventure project that I started some time ago. Besides the graphical update, I also improved the performance of the game by importing the graphical aspects in a more optimized manner, and I will show you what I mean. First of all, I optimized the environment by separating in fewer layers, and I have cropped the canvas of layers that occupied empty space. Now, all you guys need to do now to keep up to date with the project is to download the graphical assets from the link that I will put in the description and use these layers. I will go over them just to see the position that every layer has. And by applying them to your project, you should be fine with the environment. Another very important thing that I did and helped with the performance is that I use now sprite sheets for the player animations. Now, I will do a separate video just to show you how to do sprite sheets. It will be a very short video and I will put it in this playlist. This will help a lot for optimizing the performance of your game. Now, to integrate those sprites to your project, just download the new player animations from the assets folder that I will put the link in the description, and just reapply your animations one by one. If you have troubles with it, you can watch the other video that I will upload for spreadsheets. Now, what I did is that because my player before had a scale of 0.3 by 0.3, which was not optimal because I had larger images that I scaled down for my player to look the size that I wanted. Now I have the default size to my player, but my images are smaller, which means that the performance of the game is better. If I run the game now, you will see, and I will go to the debugger and video RAM, you will see how much of an improvement we have in comparison to the previous version of the game. One last thing to mention though is that because I changed the size of the player, you need to readjust some stuff. First of all, the offset, I changed it so that the player comes down to their feet and their feet has this position right now. Of course, you can play a little bit with these values as it only changes the feel of the game. Now, onwards with the cursor implementation. As you can see now, under my UI folders, I have a new folder which is called cursor. And it has all the sprites of my cursor that I'm going to use for this implementation. Now, if you just want to have a default cursor for your game, you can just go to project settings, and go under display mouse cursor. And here you can put the image of the cursor that you want. And this is my default cursor. Of course, this will only change the default cursor of the game and will not have any dynamic effect. Now I'm going to create a new scene, which I will call mouse cursor. And this mouse cursor will have a sprite, of course. And this will be the sprite of my cursor. For now, we'll just put the default here so I can see it. Now, I'm gonna need a script for this. and I will call it mouse cursor. Now I will just copy paste this code here. This is something that I used from another fellow dev that I will put his link in the description below. Now this is a simple code that what does is that on ready function I hide the default cursor so I can use my own customized cursor. And here, once every frame, I update the position of my cursor to the position of the mouse. So now, if I run the scene, the specific scene, you will see that I have my mouse cursor move along with my mouse. And if I want now to pass it here to my main scene, I will pass it under the UI right here. And always keep in mind to increase the z-index in order to make sure that the cursor will always be visible and will not be hidden under something else. Now, if I'm going to run the scene here, you will see again that I have my default cursor. And nothing changed much because all I did was just replace my default cursor with the one I customized. But the one I customized right now doesn't do anything else other than use a default sprite. Before moving on, I want just to increase a little bit, of course this is up to you, the size of the cursor. Of course this is a personal preference and you can decide the scale of your cursor yourselves. But the good thing is that because we have our sprite here, we can adjust the scale of the cursor however we want. What we want to do now is, according to the interaction that we have when you hover the cursor, you want to display a different kind of cursor, so the player knows what the interaction is about. To do that, we will need to access the control script. And remember that the control script uses this function here to determine which interactions we are about to do. Now, I'm gonna need the cursor here. So I'm going to grab it when the game loads. Alright, with this now, what we want to do is go here and remember that we have this thing that determines which interaction type we have. Now, I don't want this to be here because I wanted to use it earlier in this function, so I will put it in the top of the function. And now I will show you in a little bit why I do that. Now I will go back here to my mouse cursor and I will do a copy paste. This thing. Now what I did here is just load all of my cursor sprites so I can use them the way I want. And of course I grab the sprite of my cursor, the node of the sprite of my cursor. So by having that, what I want to do is say this function is called whenever I hover my mouse over an interaction type. And before what I did was, if it's just a hover, I said if it's not a click, so it's a hover, so get out of this function. But now I need to see, to examine this condition because I need to do some stuff when the mouse is hovered. So right now I have my interaction type, and this I can use in order to determine which mouse I will display. I will need the function now, which I will call it handle mouse interaction hover. And this needs an interaction type. Now I will call this function in my control and I will pass the interaction type. So now it accesses the node of my mouse cursor and calls this function. And remember that I have this condition here. So I can simply copy paste all of this stuff. I'm going to do some other stuff with it now. So here I have all of my cursor sprites and I know which interaction type the mouse is hovered over. So I can easily do whatever I want now, and what I want to do is just change the texture of my sprite. So I will take the cursor sprite and I will take the texture of course, and I will say This is the info interaction, so I will grab this sprite and just copy paste it to the other conditions. This is the pickup, so I will have this cursor pick hover, and this is an item. So this is something that I want to display when I'm about to use an item. So I have this cursor which is called cursor use. Now, if I hit play, you will see that my mouse changes according to the interaction that I'm hovering over, but it doesn't return to its original default sprite. Our next move now is to go to my interaction objects and detect when I am going to exit my mouse hover. So I just need this signal here, which is called mouse exited, and I'm going to connect it to my control script, of course. And here I know when my mouse has exited the area of the interaction. So to do something, first I need to go here to my mouse cursor function, or script rather, and create a new function. And I misspelled this. I want to write handle here, so I'm going to change it here, and also, where was it? Here. Now, I want to handle when the mouse exits the interaction area. And I don't need a specific variable for that because it is a general rule. And what this rule says is that when I exit the interaction, I just want to return to my default cursor right here. Now, all I need to do is call it from my control function here. Now if I hit play, you will see that my cursor returns to its default state whenever I exit the interaction. Just as simple as that. Now, one more thing is, when you click to an interaction, you want to feel that click of your mouse. So right now, nothing changes when the user clicks to an interaction. Nothing changes to my cursor. I mean, I want to have something of an effect, a very simple thing actually, but it will give the player the feeling that he's making the click to this specific interaction. So this is also a very simple thing to do. I will again go to my mouse cursor script and I will write a new function, and this is called when the player clicks on the interaction. Now I will copy paste this, but this time I will do some different stuff. Slightly different actually, because what I'm going to do is, for these two specific interactions, I'm just going to disappear my cursor for a bit. So when you click on, for example, an interaction info, you will see your cursor disappear, which makes you feel like you clicked on this specific interaction. And specifically for my pickup, I deliberately designed my cursor this way, so I have my pickup hover, but I also have my pickup click. And I don't know how clear it seems, but in the hover texture, you may see a hand which is about to grab something, and in the pick sprite, in the click sprite rather, it's the same hand that closes. You will understand the effect a little bit better once I hit the play button. But right now we have our function here, and we just need to call it, which is very simple actually, because we can call it here. Because right here is this section below this condition is when you click the mouse, when interaction. So instead of hover, we're just going to do click. And we have our interaction type here. And if I click play, you will see I click here and the mouse disappears. But now, if I click on an object, the hand closes. I don't know how clear this effect is, but of course, it is visible, I believe. Now, lastly, in the beginning of the video, you will have noticed that I have also some animations for my cursors. This is also something, very simple thing to do. I will again go to a mouse cursor scene, and all I need to do is just add an animation layer. Now, I just need 3 animations. The first animation is going to be the info hover. So this is the animation that my mouse will have when it's hovered on an info interaction. And for now, I'm just going to put the info sprite, the info texture to my sprite. It really doesn't matter which texture you have right now in your scene because because it changes dynamically anyway. So by having that, I can easily make the animation that I want. And what I want to do is add the track. And the track takes it from my sprite, and I only need the rotation in degrees. With having that, I just need to set the keyframes to however I want this animation to work. Of course, this is something you can experiment yourself and do different animations on your own. But this is the kind of animation that I want for my info cursor. Of course, it should be looping. And one other thing that I want to do right now, it's a little bit mechanical. But if I go here, I can adjust my curves, and I just want to smooth it so it has a more sinusoidal curve. I don't really know if I pronounce this correctly, but if I hit play, you will see what kind of animation my cursor does right now. And whenever you create an animation, you'll always have your reset one, and this is where I want everything to be in the original state. So in the reset, I'm going to reset my value of my rotation to 0. Now, I want the new animation, and this animation is for the use hover. And for the use hover, of course, I'm going to put my use cursor here, and the animation that I want is just for the mouse to go, for the cursor rather, to go up and down. So I just need the position, and the timing for this would be 0.8 seconds. Of course, it will be looping, and I'm just going here and adjust my Y value. And this is the animation for my use cursor. I always adjust the curves, and of course, this is something you can experiment yourself. Now, there's one more animation, and this is for the pick hover. So when the player is about to grab something, so when the hand is displayed, I'm going to change the scale a little bit. Of course, again, I want to have my hand here, and again, change the timing a little bit. One more thing to note, of course, is that because in my previous animation, the use hover, I changed the position, I need to reset it here again. And in my pick hover, I want the scale. So I'm going here, and I'm just gonna adjust it slightly so it grows slightly and then grows back again. So the effect. Yeah, so this is the kind of animation that my hand is going to have. Like this. And of course, don't forget to reset the scale here. My original scale was 1.2. So now, very simply, I'm just going here to my hover and just call the animation player and say play, and I will play the corresponsive animation. So here is my info, the info hover, and we have the pick hover, and then we have the use hover. Of course, do not forget to reset your animations, and when I'm going to reset my animation is firstly when I exit my hovering. Here I'm going to play the reset animation, so my cursor returns to its original state, and I also am going to, or rather, this is the when I click the interaction, and this is when I exit the interaction. So in both occasions, I want to stop playing the animation and reset my cursor. So you will see the effect here now. If I hit play, you will see now that I have my animations for my cursor whenever I hover an interaction. And of course, if I leave the interaction, the animation stops playing and we have our default effect. So that would be all for this video, guys. If you think this tutorial is helpful, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.